Travis Kokoporo!
Thank you. Hello. Happy International Women's Day. I guess that means my cleaner's not going to fucking show up. But... It's all right. My husband's Brazilian, so my flat's never been cleaner. And that's a euphemism. Anyway, fucking Ricketts didn't show up because that bitch owes me money, but here we are. I'm only here just a few minutes. I was in Russia, and I thought I'd come by and talk about it. I really was. We just got back a couple of days ago. We went over the night before the tanks rolled in. I didn't know. I went over for some gigs. I wanted to fly over to Ukraine because I'm American. I want to see our investment. But oil's doing well. But it was strange, getting there because I think the whole thing really is about Louis C.K. He was meant to be in Kiev last weekend, and I think that's what this shit's all about. I think Putin is woke and won't have it. You know about Louis C.K., the comedian. He was caught jacking off into a plant, and with some female comics in the room. We've all been there, and. But don't worry, it's been taken care of. The plant is fine. And he's on a world tour to come back. Not to come plant, to come back. And it was going to start in Kiev. And I think Putin thought, no, yet. He can floor fucking America, but not here. He drew a line. Literally. Who knew Putin had a boundary he actually finds legitimate? But it's weird to me, so many people have said, no, we've got to cancel Russia now. We've got to cancel. You cannot cancel Russia over this. I mean, the best businesses, the most crowded restaurants are McDonald's and KFC facing the Red Square. We are all complicit. It's weird being there, because I was doing my act and everybody was calling me, be careful, don't die, be careful. The closest I came to a bomb was my act in Moscow, seriously. They stared at me like I shit on their lap, and that's not possible. It wasn't Sunday. But I think also they were offended because I eroticized Putin, because I thought they knew that he was a cocksucker. I mean, come on. We've all seen him online without his shirt walking a horse through the woods. If he's not sucking cock, that would be weird, for fuck's sake. And he's tiny, as we know. I looked him up on Wikipedia. It says he's 5'6". We know that means he's 5'3". And that means I'm a foot taller than he is. I could take that bitch. Ooh, I could. He would struggle, but it'd be fun because I know I like struggling when I know I'm going to win. Which is actually the strategy of the Russian military right now. I want to punish that little faggot. No, seriously. It would be like fucking a child. Only legal, so not as hot. But it's weird, So many, don't have rules. So many people have been saying, the Russians have been saying, well, is there a war on? We don't know. They've blocked all the information. They're fucking liars. We were there until a few days ago. I was getting all the stuff on the Guardian website. I know the Guardian. It's free and it makes me feel smart. But we were seeing everything. The Russians, even the people that live there, they're pulling a fucking page out of the Wagner songbook of World War II, and the Germans said, we didn't know. The Jews, we had no idea. Really? I've been to Dachau. By train, they drop you right off. Camp's right there. You can spot a Jew from a mile away, but not from 60 meters. I think that's selective fascism, which is also the name of my next one-person show. It was just so strange because we had to fly home through Uzbekistan. I know, they canceled my cards. I know, I couldn't shop. Terrifying. And my husband knew that Uzbekistan was an Islamic country. I know. So homosexuality is illegal, punishable by decapitation. I know. We were there for 10 hours, and he damaged my ass so much. We fucked. Like, we've been together for 10 years. We fucked like newlyweds. I swear to God. It's illegal. It's so much better. All these polite, nice queers all taking care of each other. Oh, fuck off. I liked it when I was younger and a married guy would pick me up in his Trans Am and he'd drive me to a field. I thought, am I going to be killed or blown? I'm not sure. My cock was hard as a tombstone. He'd go down on me, and then he'd come up for air and bitch about his wife. Fuck off, bitch, get back down on. We've only got 5 minutes before the police show up. Oh my God, I shot like a wildcat. While we were in Uzbekistan, it's the first time I've come where it didn't come out in clumps like tofu. Oh God. Oh. After 10 hours of that, my ass was like the back of Kennedy's head. It was so worth it. So. If that's what Islam does, bring it. Guilty as charged, seriously. And in Russia, we were, before I went on stage, they said they had all these boundaries, ones in comedy at least, where they said, oh, you can't talk about Muhammad, you can't make fun of religion, you can't make fun of the Quran, all this shit. I know, they fill your head with all this stuff, and we're comedians, we've been dropped on our heads, we hate authority. You tell us not to do something, guess what we're gonna do? I'm gonna start on stage and I say, God, I bareback that Muhammad, what a cunt. That's what I open with. It's just so ridiculous. You cannot be, there's no point being offended by anything. If you're a comedian and you're offended, it means you don't have a fucking sense of humor. It means maybe you're damaged. You've been touched by an uncle, write a joke about it. My mother's second husband fucked me. It wasn't his fault. I asked him to. The only weird part about it was when he came inside of me, he called my mother's name out. And that's my story. You can't have it. That's why I lost him in Moscow. I think a part of what I do, and part of what we all do, and the reason I went to Russia to do comedy was knowing I would never go back. Knowing that's Aideen. I knew they wouldn't get it, but I'm not going to fucking be bullied. Seriously, I've been tolerating this shit for so long. Everyone told me, oh, the Russians are so homophobic. It's kind of illegal there. You're going to get, oh, fuck that shit. The most brutal person I ever dealt with in being queer is my sister. Nasty piece of work. Shoulder pads, works for Starbucks, completely self-centered, carries her yoga mat around with her, has never done yoga in her fucking life. When I told her I was thinking about joining the swim team when I was 16, she said, only faggots join the swim team. I know. I was wet in a Speedo in 30 seconds. And the next day I joined the swim team. It was... When they tell you you're not supposed to do something, that's all I can think is to do it. That's all I can think is to go there, to push it, to see how far we can go. I mean, they're doing benefits in town for the Ukrainians. We should go to fucking Ukraine and do the benefit. We should go there and do the comedy. We should be on the front lines. I'm American. I like to be where the bullets are flying. Although I've never fired a gun. I'm from California. I can't fire. I can fire my yoga teacher, but I can't fire a gun. Not that I would, namaste. But actually... My sister bought a gun. I was there to look after my dad recently. Before we went to Russia, I went back to look at my dad's 86 and hasn't had COVID. Oh. And he's so rich, won't spend a penny on us. He's drunk all the time. My sister's like, don't let him drive. I'm like, no, let him drive. And she said to me, did you buy a gun while you're here? I'm like, no, I live in London. I prefer a menacing gaze. And she said, well, you're brave being here without a gun. You are brave, brave, brave. She said, I bought a gun. I'm like, why did you buy a fucking gun? She said, well, I'm afraid the terrorists can see me. I'm like, well, cut back on the cupcakes, you fat cunt. And then Shatner can see you from space. And then she said, but what if they kidnap my daughter? I'm like, they'll return her. Because she's a bit of a bitch. And when they do, she might be bilingual. Anyway, I would never go anywhere to do comedy. I think someone's going to like me. My husband said after the show in Moscow, he said they were quiet the whole time. He said, this is why people hate you. Because you sense, resistance and you pull and push. I'm like, it's part of my charm. It's what I think comics are meant to do. That's what I think is good. I want to be good, but I want to look good while doing it. That's the problem. I mean, Putin, adorable, tight suit. He's bad, but looks so good. Boris Johnson, not a fan. I like his initials, not a fan of his. But I like watching photos of him in the morning going jogging at 5 a.m. in tiny short shorts and black boots. He's so huggable. Whereas Biden just looks dead inside, saving the world. He's filled with sawdust. They push him on a balcony every 12 months. Go! The Nazis, oh, those uniforms. Oh. Black shiny boots. Blame Hugo Boss, he designed them. They look fantastic. The Allied troops wearing brown, what the fuck? But the Nazis hand up and moving along. Oh. How do you be good and look good while doing it? What is your secret now? Rum? Rum and pussy, really, is what it is, right? That's one boundary I fucking have, actually. I like the mechanism of the vag. It's just the smell. Listen, you guys. Just a few things I was trying out. It's good to be back. I'm really happy we made it. The worst part of coming back, actually, we came back on the night of the tube strike on time. It took us longer to get from fucking LA Shar to our home than to fly to Uzbekistan. So, but we made it, and we're glad. And thank you for letting me try this stuff. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. Thank you. Good night. Thanks.